Hey everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome to my channel. So I want to take a look today at the Secret Service. So probably like you guys, I've been glued to these hearings. And one of the things that kind of stuck out, or that's kind of been alluded to, and I'm noticing especially that Rachel Maddow's kind of starting to allude to this too, is that Pence didn't want to get in the car, right? On January 6th, during the insurrection, when he was escorted out of the chamber, right? And they were trying to protect him. They wanted him in this car and they wanted to remove him from the premises. And Pence pushed back, right? He didn't want to get in the car. He didn't know who was behind the wheel. He told one of his Secret Service agents, hey, I know you, I trust you. I don't know who's behind the wheel. So there's that. Then, of course, there was, I don't remember all the details, but there was that sort of kerfluffle with Secret Service and Jill Biden not too long ago. And then, you top it all off with Grassley, Chuck Grassley, in the Senate, I believe, right? Who was saying, hey, if Pence isn't here, it's going to fall to me to read the ballots. So if he's not here, it's going to be me. And if any of you have been following along, Chuck Grassley was totally a supporter of Trump. I watched several of the committee hearings. They televised that he spoke at, and it's just painful. It was painful to watch him talk and support Trump. And I believe he has some pretty well-known Russian ties. So that's my first reading. I want to look at the Secret Service. I feel like, obviously not all of the Secret Service, but I feel like that this is an arm of the coup attempt that maybe really hasn't been so explored is, MAGA followers, Trump followers within Secret Service that, maybe was ready to spirit Pence away, maybe isn't so safe for them to be guarding Democrats, right? That kind of thing. So we'll take a look at the Secret Service today. So my first question is, did Trump and the alleged co-conspirators, right? Was the coup plot, was the Secret Service an arm of that plot? Was elements in the Secret Service involved in attempting to overturn the election by spiriting Pence away, right? So I want to know, was the Secret Service compromised? Was the Secret Service compromised in that their part of this plot was to spirit Pence away from the Capitol building? Is the Secret Service compromised in any way in service to MAGA and Trump world and overturning this election? I want to know if any elements in the Secret Service have been compromised. Okay, so that's where I'm going first. Secret Service. Okay, I'll bring you down for this. All right, one more good little shuffle here. It says Secret Service been compromised for the insurrection. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so we're starting off here with the Queen of Swords, okay? So for me, this is a Secret Service. They've got their sword of protection. It's a noble profession to protect others, to do their service to the country. This is that protective element with the sword, using their bodies to protect the physical safety of others. It's a very noble profession. So I'm getting the good stuff that we normally think of when we think of the Secret Service, right? The just that protective element. They're there to serve our country. They're there to serve our politicians regardless of party. It's all about, continuation of, just a continuation of power, making sure that, nobody is attacked or, Secret Service stuff, right? So this is them with their sword doing their duty. It's all about duty, protection. It's just a very, although, these are big, oftentimes big, tough people, very brave, right? This is where I'm going with this card, just as the face of the Secret Service. So that's good. Their challenge, though, is the Four of Cups. So I think that there was an offer made. Someone reached out to them. And with this cups, we know that it's an ideological reaching out, making an offer of some kind. So, as someone who thinks Trump is loathsome, it's very difficult for me to understand how anybody would support him. But it's very clear if you look out across the nation, people passionately supported him, okay? And I think what happened was, just like in every other segment of life, there were just MAGA people in the Secret Service. They were ideologically drawn to, Trump's charms, so to speak. So I think, there were overtures made. There were offers made. Hey, be in service to something greater. If you're in service to Trump and MAGA world, that you're, that's just filling them up ideologically. So normally they would sit unimpassioned, how should I say? Normally the Secret Service would just be that nonpartisan, right? They protect who they're charged to protect, and that person can change. And, they work their way up to more important politicians, but it's all nonpartisan. And I think this is telling us that partisan overtures were made just because of that emotion surrounding Trump and all of his supporters. These previously, logical, unimpassioned people, they got the offer. Come join us. Come join us. This is your group. This is your party. These are your people. And you can just see it in, in the military and the law enforcement, how many of those people, and, dare I say, the people who, the pro-military, pro-guns, pro-weapons, right? Pro-militia. It's just like it's all in the same sort of category. These people who take up arms, there's just this element there that, are attracted to that sort of a dictator quality or the strength that Trump exuded, right? So they were just swayed. They were swayed by the partisanship. They were just given offers. They were reached out to. Maybe previous politicians in respect of the Secret Service never tried to do that, would never think to try and corrupt the Secret Service, right? Trump would. Overtures were made, okay? In the sky, so what will they inevitably have to face? This is the review of the money. So I feel like this is telling me that money was planted and that money grew and sprouted into the fruits that now the Secret Service is reaping. So it seems like while the emotional, ideological overtures were made, that was supported by the money. Money was planted. Money was planted in order to grow something within the Secret Service that Trump could harvest, okay? So they're inevitably going to have to face a review, an investigation, a look-see into the money situation at some point between the Trump campaign or his administration and the Secret Service or elements within the Secret Service. So foundationally, what is, sort of at the core, the foundation of this, here we have the King of Pentacles. So this is the money man, right? This is the man with all the the coins. So again, I think this is just reiterating that there was a financial incentives. Money was brought to bear on this question of the corruption, possible alleged corruption maybe within certain elements of that protective Secret Service. Okay, in the past is the world. So I think this is just sort of telling us, you know, in the past, maybe the not too distant past, they were a world-class organization. One of the things that people all around the world know all about the Secret Service. You know, there's magnetism to that group, right? They're just so interesting. And oh, the Secret Service with their earbuds, you know, watching the president, and you know, they follow him around, and it's just something that the world knows about, the world respected. While these people personally are under the radar, we don't know who they are. They're very incognito. As an agency, they're respected by the world. Everywhere the president goes, they go to protect him. So every country, right? Every state building, you know, everywhere that the president is, and of course he's around other leaders and other people in power, right? International figures. Secret Service is there. So the world, you know, the world respected them, knows about this service. You know, this is their honor, their integrity, all that great stuff that we like to think of with the Secret Service, the nonpartisanship. They're there selflessly protecting our most important people. They're just highly respected, honorable, you know, that kind of thing. That's in the past. And the energy, you know, that's, you know, the energy flows right from the past to our current and into the future. And what the energy is moving into, we have the Ace of Pentacles, again, money. So this is a big opportunity. It's a big, it's a new beginning, a new start, a new opportunity, a new profession, and, you know, new opportunities, but also it's all about the money. So it could be a big payoff, you know, a big check, a big war chest, a big chunk of change right here that started something new, that started in, will start a new beginning. So what I'm getting from these cards is definitely a nod to their stellar reputation, the Secret Service's stellar reputation across the world. Their duty, their global respect. I'm seeing that here in these cards, but what I'm seeing is a lot of money, an infusion of money. That money is going to be reviewed and looked at. They're going to try and determine who provided it, where did that money come from. And in the end, there was a huge gift, a huge check, a huge you know, war chest that was passed on, and in the future they're going to have to account for, you know, for the money. So that's kind of, you know, I was hoping for a little more details here, but that's where I'm going. Is I think that it was started out maybe as ideological. Who are Trumpsters? Who are the Trump supporters in the Secret Service? And then just start that offering of the cash to sway them. Normally they wouldn't be swayed. They'd be stepped back and reserved and outside of the partisanship of the politics. But there are just some people that are drawn to Trump's energy, and he found those people, I think. And at some point, the cash was flowing. So that's where I'm just going to leave that there. That's what I'm getting for that. So I do want to take a look. You know, I kind of read last time on the committee and Merrick Garland, you know, mentioned how they're having their little spats. I think I'm just going to do a quick versus spread on the committee versus the Department of Justice. Committee and the Department of Justice. So beyond just Merrick Garland, right? It's the whole committee there. I'm sorry, the whole department, the committee. What is going on between Merrick and these prosecutors and the January 6th committee? And the tussle, you know, with all this evidence and transcripts of all their interviews. Okay, one more. All right, let's lay down or bring it down for the verses. So on this side, I'm going to do the January 6th committee, and this side's going to be DOJ. January 6th committee. Oof. DOJ. And then I'm going to do a card in the middle. Okay, bring this back up. Okay, so we're going to start off here with the January 6th committee. And what's in their heads, their headspace? We have the Page of Pentacles. So with this card, this is telling me what's in their head. They're collecting evidence. This is documentary evidence or any kind of evidence, right? So they're collecting evidence. They're going about their business. They're going about their work. Now this page is telling me either they're not 100% confident in what they're receiving, but more likely what I'm getting here is that they're not done. They've, accumulated a lot. They're at the point now where, they're televising hearings for assault, but they're not done. Oh my God, this page is telling me, not that they're at the beginning, but they're not in full completion. They haven't gotten everything. They're still gathering evidence. They're still learning even more information. They're still collecting. They're not done. So they must really be wishing that they had more time. The clock is ticking with the midterm elections coming up. They need to get a lot of this information out there to the American people. But if they could probably spend another couple of years, right? Accumulating evidence, sifting through documents, reading emails. I mean, there must just be millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of emails and letters and texts and tweets and this whole thing. So much that as far as they've come and as much as they already know, they're not done. There's more work to do. There's more to learn. There's more to accumulate. There's more. Okay. So they understand that there's more work to do. They don't have the full picture. They don't have all the evidence that there is out there. So this is why it's not that knight or that king, because they're still learning. They're still gathering. They're still going through this process. So how do they see the DOJ? Okay, in their eye, how are they looking at the Department of Justice? And here is the Death card. So this is telling me, that so one of the accusations here, of course, is that's what they're going to be talking about today, right? Trump's attempted corruption of the Department of Justice. They've been talking about how there's still a lot of bad apples in there. Merrick Garland's having to deal with these people. Why he hasn't purged is beyond me. But I think they're seeing a kind of death of the old, I'm not talking about, the death of the old Department of Justice. Something's changed. Something's been transformed. They're looking at the DOJ, and it's a different Department of Justice than what they're expecting. They've transformed somehow. So we all know that the committee has been, not just a committee, but lots of different Americans have been extraordinarily concerned with the lack of movement of the Department of Justice. Everyone's been screaming, where is Merrick Garland? Where's the DOJ? Why aren't they investigating? Why aren't they prosecuting? You know, Merrick Garland keeps coming out and talking about the rule of law and no one's above the law. And he's, you know, he's not going to be hurried. He's not going to be rushed. He wants to do this correctly. So he comes out and he says the right things. He says the right things. But there's been no action. He didn't pursue Meadows' subpoena, right? There was someone else who, was it Roger Stone maybe? There was like a couple people that, you know, should have been charged with contempt. They declined. There's just, you know, the committee was saying they're expecting if the Department of Justice is, you know, holding investigations, that leaks out. People who they interview, let it be known that DOJ called them in, right? They kind of give up the kind of questions that they were asked. And, you know, there's information out there, starts circulating that DOJ's kind of making this happen. That's been lacking, right? Everyone has been so confused about where is the DOJ? Where is Merrick Garland? How come he's not doing his job? And now that the committee has all this evidence, he wants to come and scoop it all up. It's like, well, haven't you been doing this yourself? So yeah, they're looking at the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland, wondering what the DOJ has turned into. Why haven't they been doing their jobs? You know, do they need to be concerned that there has been some shift in the Department of Justice that has ended what they used to be and has put them on a different course, right? So I think that they're really concerned with the Department of Justice's lack of action, with the Department of Justice not supporting the committee in the subpoenas that they've issued, that there's just been no sign that beyond Merrick Garland's words that anything substantive is happening. So yeah, I think they're worried for sure. So in their hearts, as a committee, January 6th committee, we have the Queen of Swords. So I think this is just simply what's in their hearts. They want to serve justice. They want to bring justice. They want to light the light, expose all the information, bring justice to those who are guilty, you know, wield the law and, you know, do what their duty is as that committee. Now with these doves, look at those doves. So this committee is a very, let's remember, this is a peaceful way to resolve power disputes. This is one of the gifts that America has, that we have the ability to resolve political conflicts peacefully. I think there's a nod towards that. They're not trying to, you know, start a war or, you know, do anything like that. This is a peaceful investigation to shine light and expose the truth. And yeah, they just want to bring some justice. And finally, what is the action that they're going to be taking? We have the Tower. So yeah, I would certainly say there's the Emperor with no clothes, who they're investigating, who's having yet, they're going to bring another Tower moment to him. So these hearings are really impactful. There's a whole lot of people watching. Yes, there's people who refuse to watch or won't change their minds, because there's always those people. But this is a Tower moment for Trump. He's, you know, clearly watching these hearings. This is like his worst nightmare. Everything he's done and said exposed, completely exposed, and toppling him yet again from his perch, right? So they're bringing Trump another Tower moment. So that's what I got for the committee. So let's move over here to the DOJ side. What is their headspace? What's in their heads right now? We've got the Ace of Swords. So again, this is justice. That's good. We want justice to be in their heads. But you could see this sword up in the sky, high in the sky. So there's a lot of, this is sort of that, oh, how should I say it? This sort of high-minded justice where it's a lot of conceptual justice. It's in the ideas of justice, I'm not finding the right words I want to use, but this isn't a down-to-earth, shoes on the pavement kind of justice. This is conceptual. This is getting into the law, the weeds, the umbrella concept of justice over this whole issue. So they are thinking of justice, but they have to do it in the right way. They have to follow the law. They have to make sure that, it's a nonpartisan, that they're doing it, crossing their T's and dotting their I's kind of thing. They don't want to see that, again, that dove is back there. They don't want this to turn this into some sort of partisan fighting. They don't want to set off segments of the country against each other. They want this to be a peaceful investigation. The sword always means investigation, following the law, justice, truth, and all those wonderful things. So I think this is at least telling us that their intent is good. The way they're thinking about things is logical. They're following the law. They are having to get into the weeds a little bit here. There's a lot of high-minded conceptualizing about some legal issues, but the intent is good, and they want to go about this peacefully. So that is good as well. So the next card is, how do they, the Department of Justice, see the January 6th committee? How do they view that committee? And here we have, again, the Four of Cups. So I think, this is pretty simple. The way they see this committee is that they are obtaining and gathering evidence. Okay, there's their evidence that they've already obtained. They're still acquiring more. They're sort of sitting there, I wouldn't say under the radar, but they're sort of sitting there, composed, quiet, letting the evidence come to them. And I think we already know that's happening, right? They're saying that that's the reason why next week's hearings were delayed, because they're just getting all kinds of tips and all kinds of new information. They're just sitting there racking it up. And the DOJ is looking at that going, I want to get me some of that. I want to know what's in those cups. I want access to that information. So yeah, that is what's going on, right? They're looking at the work that the committee has done and all that information, all that, again, ideological, these cups about the feelings, the heart, ideology. So all of this testimony that they're getting, DOJ is like, want to see that. Okay, so what is in the Department of Justice's heart? We have the Ten of Pentacles. And again, like, I'm tying it into this card. Remember I said, here's the evidence they're getting. There's more. They're not done because they're still accumulating all this evidence. And the Department of Justice, looking at it, we want to know what's in there, right? In their heart, I feel like they're the mice here. They want to get in to the trove of evidence that the committee has accumulated. They want to know what's in there. They want to dig up in there, get up in there, get all that information, figure out what it all is. They want to rifle through it. So yeah, that is the focus of what's in their heart, what they're feeling now is they want access. They want to nose all up in that business. And at the bottom, what is going to be their action? Here we have the Six of Wands. So this is a little tricky for me because this is a victory card, which is great. You know, I certainly hope that they're victorious in any pursuit of corruption or whatever. But this also my capital riot cards with the capital there in the back and all that red and all that rabble rousing and rioting. So I think their action here is going, I would say again, pursuit of these rioters, pursuit of, these insurrectionists. Now, one of the things that people were a little hemming and hawing about with the Department of Justice is that they really wanted to start from the ground up, right? That's what Garland said. They're going to go in there, start with just the people that were present, the rioters that were in the Capitol, start at the ground level and then work their way up until they get to the organizers, the planners, the funders, no matter how high, right? Nobody's above the law. This is a nod to that, I feel, of them starting with just the everyday MAGA people that showed up, those rioters that showed up there, starting at that ground level, working their way up. That is the action that they've been taking. Whether that is the best method or not remains to be seen. A lot of people are saying, you know, maybe you should have started at the top. But this is how he feels he's building a case, or they feel like they're building a case. Got to lay the foundation before you start building on top of it. So they're going after these rioters. They're going after the insurrectionists. And this card promises victory. This is a victory card right here. So this brings us to our final card right here in the middle to sort of summarize the relationship. And we have the 10 of Swords. Ooh, bad card. So for the 10, so this is a downfall. This is a downfall. Now the only person I think experiencing the downfall right here, the Emperor with no clothes, right? Having this tower moment. He's fallen. It's definitely his downfall. That is the joint purpose of both of these groups, both the committee and the Department of Justice, is to make sure that whoever, attacked the United States suffers their downfall. There's a lot of swords there to bring these people down. So, and I think all these swords, this isn't like a bunch of evidence for one person. I think these are all the people. So I think it's a nod towards lots of people are going to be pursued here. This isn't just Trump. It's not going to be just him. That, as we can see, they're trying to look at every arm of this conspiracy, each of the points, right? The pressure on Pence, the, corrupting the DOJ, all of it. They're going along each of the branches of this coup. And part of that is inevitably going to end up in Congress and in the Senate and all those alleged co-conspirators. I feel like there's a group. I'm going here. There's a group that's gonna be suffering their downfall. And that is the sort of joint mission. I'm not saying that they've pre-selected people and they want to go after them and bring them down, but between all the evidence that they accumulate and, well, I should say that the committee accumulated and that the DOJ is going to be sniffing around in, this is a conspiracy. This is a group, a conspiracy of people who worked together, acted together, and they are going to fall together. Okay, so that is where I'm going to leave it today. I thank you for watching my video. I hope if you liked it that you'll hit like, subscribe if you're new to my channel and you like what you see, and I will be back with you guys, if not tomorrow, within a couple of days with another reading. And I hope you all watch the hearings tonight. I'm going to be glued to that. And yeah, that's it. So it's happening, everybody. I'll see you in a couple days. Take care. Bye.